All righty. Good morning. Welcome back to the Weight Escape. I'm actually super excited this morning to have Momo Foster on. Momo is an icon for Pound. So we're going to get into exactly what Pound is in a few minutes, but it's a really neat situation because she is actually an instructor for a fitness company, which is something we don't have anybody else speaking on this summit about. So I am super, super excited to jump into this because I love Pound personally. It's something that I have found for me as a way to just, I don't know, turn my body into the movement. It makes me feel good. I always walk away from a class feeling amazing, empowered, and ready to take on the day or feel like I've ended the day in a good way. So I really wanted to have somebody on from Pound, and I'm super excited. Momo is absolutely a sweetheart. Really enjoyed getting to know her. Like we said, through this gift of COVID, we get to meet people we never would have met. So it's kind of neat to connect with her. And I'm just going to jump right in and get you to tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Yeah, so I'm in Houston, Texas, and I have two children. Actually, one is 7 and one is 19. So that's an adventure in itself. So I actually teach Pound part-time and full-time. I am a chief strategy officer. So basically the CEO, right hand of the CEO, and it's in IT. So yeah, during COVID, it's been super crazy, and of course, we all know we're all at the hands of technology right now. So yeah, that's just my basic stuff there.
Awesome. So let's jump right into it then. What the heck is Pound? For people out
Pound.
there that are like, what are you guys talking about? What is Pound?
All right. So I always say, in short, Pound is a cardio jam session. Real short, quick. People are like, what? But really, Pound is a revolutionary workout. It's a lifestyle brand that really aims and focuses on changing our minds before bodies and really creating environments that um, want to elicit inspiration and love, and that, everybody is welcome. So that's what Pound is. And we use these things called rip sticks. Can't miss them.
Ah, so it's like drumming.
Yes, drumming. Yep, absolutely drumming and being part of the music. Absolutely.
Awesome. So take us back. How did you hear about Pound? How did you become a Pound pro? Because that's the first step. And then now you're a Pound icon.
Yes. So it's a pretty interesting story. So I used to play roller derby.
Oh,
So I'm a roller derby vet, and I had my daughter, and so I was back at the gym at my local YMCA trying to get back into fitness, and I tend to get bored easily. And I was actually at a class, and the director had come in and said, "Hey, keep an eye out for this new class. It's called Pound. It uses weighted drumsticks. Go to poundfit.com and just get an idea. We're going to bring it to the Y." So naturally, I went to the internet, pulled it up, and instantly fell in love. Ordered the home kit, got my first pair of ripsticks, and tried it at home. My son was like, "What are you doing? It looks so tribal." Like, I don't know, but I love it. And patiently waited to come to the Y, and it didn't come.
oh,
So a few months later, I had called up there and I said, "Hey, we were supposed to have this new class Pound. Is it coming? I really wanted to try it." And it ended up being the same person, the director, on the phone. And he said, "Well, our instructor ended up moving. If you know anyone, let me know, because we really want to bring it to the class." So in the meantime, I had received emails. I joined backstage. There was a backstage back then, and so they were shooting out emails all the time. And if you want to get trained, become an instructor. So I'm on the phone. I said, "Well, I got an email about becoming an instructor. I don't know if it's something I could do." And he said, well, what's your name? I said, well, it's Momo. And he goes, ah, Momo, the roller derby girl. Because I would skate laps on the
Oh,
track
okay, okay.
outside. So I kind of had a reputation at the Y. And he said, if you get trained in it, I'll put you on the schedule. I think this is something you can do. Come in, we'll talk about it. And, I would love to give you the opportunity. So I talked to my husband and said, hey, there's a training in a couple of weeks. Let's drive to Dallas. And he said, okay, let's do it. And that was my first live class
Wow.
and just went from there. So that was, oh gosh, over 5 years ago. And, becoming a pro, they're always growing the community, growing our training program, our education program. And every once in a while they put out applications for master trainers, and I thought, I really love this format, I'm going to try. And it went from there. So I went through the master trainer program, and here I am now, almost 3 years later, training other people how to become pros. So it's amazing. It's been a journey.
That's an amazing story. And it's funny because I think a lot of us in fitness and in the wellness industry somehow get through because an opening like that has kind of started, or we've been taking a class and the instructor moves and it's like, okay, we have no one left to take over. It's like, oh, could I?
Yeah, and being an icon, we come across so many people that just they want the class and there's no one teaching it, or someone just says, "Hey, this is something that you would really love." And I would have never thought that I would be doing this as my job. I mean, it's definitely a dream job. It's crazy. It just kind of took over me.
So just to clarify, a pound pro is somebody that's certified to teach classes. So that
Yes.
could be somebody, either at, like you said, the YMCA or a community center or a studio, or right now on Zoom. We tend to be doing a lot of things online. And an
Yeah.
icon is someone who has been an instructor, who has gone through an application process that is now a master trainer training instructors.
Yeah.
And you
You're
represent the brand.
exactly right.
Just want to clarify that because people are like, pro, icon, what?
I
Huh?
know. I know. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask though, like, okay, you said cardio jam. So yes, there's these rip sticks, but how is pound different than other exercise classes? Because of course we have a million options, sometimes too many, but what makes it different?
So for me, in being a part of group fitness for some time, I love how Pound is absolutely for any age, any stage. To me, that's what makes it extremely different from other formats, because it is truly, truly for any demographic you can think of. So you can, you have options that you can use. Everybody loves music. We become part of the music, which is another reason why it's extremely different, because, we're not just moving to the music, we are the music. And it brings out this, what we call inner rock star. And to me, that is what makes it extremely different from other formats.
And when you say it could be like for anyone, what does that mean? Like somebody, like a kid? Does that mean someone in their 80s? Like someone with injuries? Like, I just want to clarify that because I think we kind of hear that a lot over anyone, but there's a lot of people at home going, yeah, but not me. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and I think sometimes people just think that we say that to say that, but it truly, truly provides um, an alternative way to rock
mhm.
for woman, child, people in wheelchairs, people in chairs. Um, I've taught to special needs. I mean, across the board. We actually have a couple of pros. I trained one. We have a pro in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and that was an absolute honor. But I mean, it is for anybody, not just anybody, but anybody. if you have a heartbeat and you can clap your hands, you can do pound.
I like that. I'm gonna totally put you on the spot actually, and ask like, do you have a favorite? I mean, probably hard to say just one, but something that comes to mind, like a favorite client story of maybe somebody that either didn't think they could do it and somehow happened to come try a class, or had some barriers, like you said, the wheelchair pro, but someone in your like your everyday teaching. Like, do you have a client or a participant that you could think of that's like, I love this story?
Yeah, and it's there is one. I teach for my city, for the community, and and I actually didn't even know until her mother reached out to me, and she's been on a fitness journey and a changing her lifestyle, and oh gosh, she nails it. Like you can tell she is in it. And we came to a point because I teach outside, and so we do pound outside, and we were on Facebook, and her mom and I would have never. I mean, she does not care. She is in it. She moves. She rocks out. I would have had no idea that she struggled with that and struggled with being herself. And if her mom didn't reach out to me and said, "You have no idea how much your class has made her feel confident and secure and physically healthier, mindfully healthier." And it just that when you hear things like that,
Totally.
I mean, just like we were talking earlier, I mean, when you come, I mean, pound is obviously a fitness format, but there's so much more to it. And when you hear those stories of people being more confident, being more themselves, and there's just I have no words for it. And I can't say her name because she goes by the name of Rowfire. It's not her legal name, but yeah, when I heard her mom, let me know that I was just my heart melted. I mean, I think she was probably one of the ones that really touches me. So, and I miss her so much right now because she helps take care of her mom too, and so I don't get to see her. And so yeah, but that would be one of the many. Road Fire. She's probably, yeah.
I love that you said that, because I think when people go to, the Pound website, a lot of those comments are, I feel stronger, I feel more confident. And a lot of the comments are more about that internal than, oh, I've lost all this weight, or, oh, I feel more confident, I feel empowered, I feel stronger. And the weight loss is almost kind of like the byproduct of that.
Yeah.
But what would you say about it, like about the class, that makes people feel more empowered? Like, what is it within Pound that kind of gives that off?
Well, I think the fact, number one, that we're drumming,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many aspects to drumming in itself that has these things going on with, the natural things like dopamine and serotonin and things like that. But it really helps, syncing our mind with what our body is doing and being more aware of what our body is doing. And I think that is where and then listening to mute. And what's amazing about Pound is the music. I mean, it's across the board, different genres. And so there's no matter what class, what participant, there's going to be that one song that people are just they're going to jam to it. And I think we need that, and especially as we get older, we feel more reserved and kind of we have to let that go. And I think that's where that comes into play, is just connecting your heart and your mind, and then being able to use our physical aspects with it, just kind of ties it in a little bow for you.
I love that. I think it's funny you say that, because I'm not a huge fan of really hard rock music. but there's two songs that are in the, you know, road in that Pound uses, and I know that they use more, but there's just two that really speak to me, and I would never have listened to those songs. But now that I've learned the tracks to it, it's like it'll come on the radio and I'm sitting there in my car on the steering wheel, just like in my own little world. And it's like, yes, you know, and it's like I've actually gone to an interview where I've cranked that in the car because I know what it feels like when I'm doing it. And it's like, it's that uplifting, it's that empowering. And I'm like, I know if I hear this, I'm going to go rock whatever I'm doing afterwards.
Absolutely. Yeah, you perfectly explained it. That's exactly what it is. And that's funny that you mentioned, oh, there's these songs that I would have never thought I would listen. That happens to me all the time. And I remember when I was younger, I'd kind of be like a music snob and oh, I would never listen to that. But Pound has proven me wrong. And then what's really cool is my daughter, so like, and this is really neat in itself, is my 19-year-old is like, oh, what track is that? Pound track. And then my 7-year-old's like, mom, what's that song? Pound track. So even that, between a 7-year-old and 19-year-old, I mean, I love it. I love being introduced to music, and because music is, and Pound is music driven, and music I feel like is a way that we can absolutely express ourselves in a safe manner. And I think that's why another reason we just feel this empowerment is we can express ourselves through this music and actually make the music. So
I never thought of it that way, even though I've kind of heard in the trainings and such and explained a couple ways like that. But I think you just put that so perfect. And it
oh
is. I think, if I can just take it one step farther, but I think you're right. Music is kind of like a universal language that we can all speak.
yeah.
So when we get into that, a setting, whether it's a studio, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's outside, we're all speaking the same language and we fit. Like we all fit. Doesn't matter if you're 82, 22, 8, we do all fit.
Yeah,
I think that's
coming together,
key.
making noise.
Yeah. I mean, where else is that so inviting that no matter who you are, you can come as you are and still speak the same language?
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so what would you say to somebody who's listening that's like, well, that's nice, but that sounds really, really scary. And I've got a hip injury or I struggle to even walk. I can't do it.
Yeah, so that sounds really nice, but I know it's so funny because you do come across people, they're like, yeah, you seem to enjoy it, but I don't know. I We adjust. And what's really amazing about our community and everyone in our classes is that we will adjust for you to be a part of our posse. I mean, you can make any range of motion smaller, you can make it bigger, you can use a chair if you need to. I mean, you can absolutely do Pound no matter what. And if you just allow yourself to let yourself unleash in the music, and before you know it, you're like, wow, 45 minutes just passed. And like you said, the after product is I burned a lot of calories, or you feel it the next day and you're like, wow. But yeah, I know it's hard to hear that sometimes because you're a Pound Pro, but we can adjust. We can make the Pound workout for you. So that's what I would say, I guess.
I have one client that just comes to mind, and it was cute because she's actually very, very fit, very active. And when we started promoting it in my studio, we obviously invited people. Oh, that's not my thing. That's just not my thing. And I'm like, it's okay. It doesn't have to be your thing, but you're invited to come try. And she just wouldn't, no, not my thing. And she shared with me a couple months later, she's just like, well, I just don't think it's going to work me hard enough. And I can't remember what happened, but she ended up coming. She'd forgotten something at the studio when I was practicing a new track. because pound releases tracks to us. And she's like, what the heck is that? I was like, this is what I've been talking to you about. I was like, here, grab a set of sticks. You have 3 minutes. And she's like, yeah. And we went through the song and I said, just keep in mind, I'm going to be fumbling. I'm learning, you know? And I said, but great, you're here. I can practice, right? And she was just like, I totally misjudged that. And she's like, this is absolutely amazing. And I hope she's listening to this because she's going to be laughing. But she was just like, you know what? You just taught me like such a good lesson about not judging things before I try them. And she's like, and you're right. You can make it, you can adapt it for anyone, or you can make it brutally hard and really challenge people too. And I mean, for her, for me, that was that light bulb moment of even reminding myself, like, don't make a judgment about something until you understand it. But also, you know, anybody can work at any level and still enjoy that same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I love too about when you see pound classes, you can kind of, I mean, just by eyesight, you can see the different fitness journeys. And I love it because, you know, all the ample progressions, you know, like the person that misjudged, oh, that can't be hard enough. But you can absolutely make it yours wherever you're at. It meets you there. So if you want to just hang out and grab the beat, you're moving, you're working. And if you want to go all the way down to the floor, you're more than welcome to. And I think that's so funny because people actually heard a comment the other day about, I could kind of sense that, oh, it's probably not hard enough. And I think that's hilarious that you're just like, well, I'm practicing. You weren't even doing the track full out.
No, I wasn't.
And she's like, whoa, I misjudged this. So yeah. And then I think that in that also is a reason why it makes people feel empowered, because you know it may look fun, which
Yeah.
it is, right? It's so fun, but it really strengthens you. And yeah, it strengthens you physically, and it definitely strengthens you up here. People are like, wait, what? So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I love what you said too about, you know, as pros, it's almost like, come challenge us. You know, that's kind of what I feel like with clients. It's like, if you tell me you have a shoulder injury or you tell me you have this, it's like, that almost excites me to figure out how to make it work for you.
Yes.
No, it's like, okay, well, let's see how we can adapt this for you, but you're still going to be a part of it.
Yes. That yes, yes, yes. I love that. Because I've had participants where they couldn't use one of their arms and they still did the movements, and we figured out a way to make sure that they were getting that feedback on the taps. And yeah, that's awesome.
I think, you know, I mean, I love your story, like coming from roller derby and you know, getting into pound and how it's like, oh, I want to take the class, so I'm going to go do it. Um, I've done fitness my whole life, and I've taught everything from boot camps to indoor cycling to TRX classes to, you know, like when you work at a studio for a long time, you kind of see the trends and you kind of go get certified in them all. And I've got to say, like, this is probably the one thing where I have had everybody included. You know, like, whereas like in a boot camp, if you have a shoulder injury, it's like, okay, everybody's doing this exercise, but you're going to do something different. You're still a part of it, but what you're doing is different. Whereas pound, it's like, yes, we will adapt it for you, but what you are doing is the same as everyone else. And it's the only thing personally that I have come across in 20 years where no matter where you are, even if we're altering, you're still doing the same thing. And I think
Yes.
that there's something so special, like it almost brings me to tears, because I think there's something so special about being able to be included no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what you can or can't bring, you can still do the same thing as everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. You said it perfectly. Absolutely. I know. I love that. Yeah. Tears.
You know, like, that's what we want to bring to people. That's what we do, what we do. We always want to make sure that everybody that wants to be included can be a part of it. And I literally have not come across anything else that is so inclusive, so easily inclusive as an instructor, as a trainer, as a, so easily inclusive.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So what's the biggest piece of advice you could give somebody who might be sitting at home listening to this going, okay, well, I've been thinking about making a change for a while, or, oh, I've tried this and I've tried that, and I just don't like it, but I really need to get control of my health.
Ah, what is that? The contemplation stage, I think.
Or pre-contemplation, depending on where you are, but yes.
You know, and here's the thing, I think we all struggle with that, no matter where we are at. And I think some people don't realize that because no matter where we're at in our fitness journey, we all have those moments where we're like, well, I would say the first thing is just do it. And that's really the hardest part. It really is because, I've suffered myself to where, and I'm in the fitness industry to where I don't want to do it. I'm not motivated, especially with things that are going on now. I mean, we have so much stress that's been put on us dealing with COVID, and sometimes I just have to tell myself to suck it up and do it because once I get past that point, it just there's no looking back, and there's no moment where you're like, "Ah, I wish I didn't do that." And that is what I mean, honestly, during, on a personal note, during COVID, I went through a time where I didn't want to do anything. And because of, my friends with Pound and doing Pound, I just had to force myself to do it. And it's like, I need to do it to function. um, and that would be my first advice was just, get over it. Do it. I promise you'll feel so much better. And that's what I love about Pound is that there's not, like you were saying, there's no limitations. There's no reason why you can't do it. And because you're making music and you are physically moving as well, you feel so much better. And then it just kind of, what's the opposite of a downward spiral? It grows in itself, and I need it. So I guess that would be my first thing. And then I won't lie, the second step is that most of the time you'll become obsessed with it. It becomes a part of you. So yeah, I guess that would be, I hope that answers your question.
Totally does. I love it. I love it. I think
I kind of went on a rant on that one.
rants are allowed.
So yeah.
So I'm gonna end with this because I'm gonna kind of spring it on you too. But if you could go back when you phoned that director and asked about the classes, when you were looking forward and you had got your home kit and were sort of knew what Pound was, but you were super excited because it was gonna waiting and waiting and waiting. That moment where he proposed or you decided, could I do this? Could I actually go and get certified? If you were to take who you are today and go back and speak a word of advice or a word of wisdom or a word of a kick in the pants, however you want to say, what would you say to Momo then a couple years ago in that contemplation, can I do this phase? Because obviously you've come a long way since that phone call.
Yeah. Um, I would say the first thing would be, and I've heard this, is don't don't hold back on being yourself. um, but I went through my learning stages and I needed them, but that would probably be the first thing is don't hold back on being yourself. Uh, and I think the other thing would be you can do anything if it's something that and here's the thing, even if it's something that you're not necessarily um, in love with, but if you just kind of experiment, you never know. And I mean, that's basically what happened with me. I mean, I knew I had this seed there, and I thought, well, sure, I'll try it. And it ended up being something just from all aspects has influenced my life. So, yeah, don't be afraid to be yourself. And I can't, I'm like, just do it. But yeah, just experiment, try it, see what happens, see where it goes. So, yeah.
I love that. That's powerful. I think we all need to hear that. I'm just realizing I need to hear that. That little reminder every once in a while. I don't know why we tend to retract as human beings, but I love it.
I know.
We all need that once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So keep an eye on your emails because Momo is actually going to be doing a live workout for us coming up, and we will make sure to have all of the information for you, and come taste it. Like she said, give it a try because we're going to go on live. We're going to put on a pound workout. We're going to have a blast. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to smile. We're going to, we're going to move. And yeah, give it a try because you never know if you don't try something. And, you know, as you can hear from the two of us today, but especially from Momo, it's a life changer. And you don't know where it's going to take you. You don't know where new things are going to take you. And we'd love to be able to expose that to you. So keep your eyes on your emails. We will give all of the information. We can't wait to see you there. Momo, thank you so much for being here today. I so loved getting to know you. I feel like we're very similar, and I would love to keep in contact with you for sure.
Yeah.
Similar passion, similar vision. We'll have all of the pound information on this page or the speaker page. So feel free to look into it more, reach out if you have questions. You won't be sorry. It is, like we said, it's the one thing that I've come across where it is totally inclusive. And like we said, come challenge us to fix it. If you've got something that you think limits you, give us a try. Come challenge us because we love it. Yeah, pound it out. Awesome. Thank you so much again. Perfect. And have a good one.